What is up, guys? Abixis here, coming at you with another Overwatch video. Today we're going to be doing the skin ranking for McCree, Cassidy, whatever you're calling them at this point is fine with me. Let's get right into it. This one was actually one of the easier ones, so I'm probably going to go through it pretty quick. Starting off the worst one, we got Wheat. Wheat is a recolor of the basic skin, and not a great one in my opinion. Anything that is worse than the basic obviously goes below it, but most of the time the recolors end up being lowest on the list for a reason. It just doesn't look as nice as the original, so why buy it? Next up is On the Range. Again, just a slightly more dirty version of the original. Not that great. Next up, Lake. A little bit of a blue, more colors, still not a great contrast in my opinion. Ebony. This is slightly better, once again, but still not all that amazing. Sandstorm, which was that Cassidy New Blood challenge, which looks okay, but again, not all that amazing. Sage, again, pops a little more than the last couple, but still not all that great. Forest Ranger, now we're getting a little bit in the step in the right direction. It's got some custom boots, much more bright colors. I don't particularly love the bright green look. But overall, this is definitely a pretty big step up from the last one. Next up, one of the most controversial ones, Vigilante. The bright yellow really doesn't do much for me. Give it some points for creativity on the actual design, but there are definitely better ones out there. Speaking of the better one, we got Mystery Man. Same kind of creative design, but much better colors, much better look. Definitely a big fan of this compared to anything below it. I would actually run this one. Next up is Sherlock. This one is, again, not my favorite. I probably wouldn't be running it, but it is actually pretty interesting looking. You got to give it some creativity. The arm looks cool. The pistol is interesting. It does have one of the better gun designs. But I still think there are definitely better ones out there. I think McCree skins end up being pretty top-heavy on, like, how good they are. Next up, American. I think this classic flag look for him fits pretty well. Normally, I would think it looks kind of weird, but for this character, it does fit with the USA belt buckle and stuff. Not my favorite either, but decent. Scrooge. If it didn't have the weird icicle effects, I'd put it a little higher. I think it's funny looking. It's goofy enough for it to work. Again, not the best, but still a decent skin. Gambler, can't go wrong with this one. This one's pretty middle of the road for me. It's one that if I had this skin only, I'd run it. In fact, I'm pretty sure, at least on this account, I did just run this skin only. I also don't play a ton of McCree, though, so I never really went on my way to buy a lot of his skins, or to focus on getting them with the coins in Overwatch 1 as they used to be. So Gambler's right here. It's just a solid skin. Nothing really wrong with it. White Hat, pretty cool. Decent recolor. I think it looks nice. Speaking of which, you guys notice that the original skins, Overwatch 1 and 2, aren't on here yet. This is one of the few characters where the original skin is very, very high for me. Next up, we got Royal. Actually, a really cool recolor. I like the blue, I like the black, I like the carbon fiber with the skulls. I think this is one of the recolors that knocks it out of the park, kind of like Carbon Fiber Echo. But again, I really think this one's pretty solid. Undead, it's one of those nice recolors. Where you get some extra particle effects, you get like a complete little redesign, and as much as it's very similar to the base skin, you do get a little bit of an extra, add-on, I guess. It's pretty cool. Magistrate, this one is not my favorite. I actually probably would have put it lower, but I'm giving it some points for the fact that the gun is really unique, the skin itself is really unique, and thematically I think it fits what it's going for. Not my favorite. But definitely a decent and more unique skin that makes it stand out. It makes it look like you actually have a skin. Mountain Man, this fits him really well. It's a really clean look for McCree. It's not, again, my favorite, but again, his skins are pretty top heavy in my opinion. But if you're running this one, you're not doing anything wrong. Space Raider, this is where I think we start to get into the good skins. This one I think is really cool. The colors, the textures, the gun looks awesome. Overall, this has a theme going for it, and I think it really knocks it out of the park and also puts it, separates it from the base McCree skin enough to justify it existing. So definitely, I think that's one of the better ones out there. Next up, Lifeguard. It's got that summer vibe. A lot of these summer skins end up being pretty high. I always think they turn out pretty well. The no beard, or the partial beard, is a little strange, but overall, I think it's cool how they worked it in, and I think I think this one looks really good. Next up, Overwatch 1. Wow, the base skin made it pretty high. He's one of the few characters that I really believe the base skin is one of the best, which is actually kind of crazy because it hasn't happened yet on the list so far. But Overwatch 1, classic, clean look, nothing wrong with it. Fits the character, fits the voice actor, you know, Matthew Mercer. It's just nothing wrong with this one. Next up, Overwatch 2, basically just an HD overhaul of the old one. This is crazy as this is number 5 in the top 5, I believe. So that says something, I guess, about either McCree's skin quality or how good the base skin is, depending on how much you want to look into that. So let's get on to number 4, Riverboat. I think this is one of the most simple yet clean skins. It's thematically fitting for him. The gun is clean. The skin overall has decent color palette, and I just think overall it looks really good. Getting into the top 3. Now, to me, the difference between 4 and 3 on this list, when you're walking into these top 3, is pretty large. I think the top 3 are really, really good. The rest of them are just pretty solid. So number 3 is Deadlock. Young McCree. This is a canon skin. You know how much I love canon skins if you've been watching so far. I love a lot of the ones that are just like throwbacks to the character's old look when they were younger, or like an outfit they wore in like the lore or the comics. So Deadlock with that young McCree with the leather jacket, you can see kind of where he came from. I think it is really, really cool. I'm a big fan of this one. Speaking of which, Blackwatch Cree, again, I think this is just a really clean, awesome version of his original. It's completely different than the original, but it still holds that same shape. He's not like a zombie or something wacky. He just looks really, really cool. And I always like these blacked out looks. All of the Blackwatch skins, they're super cool. Coming in at number 1, Van Helsing. I think this one is awesome. You got like the molten hand. You got a really cool, you know, flame decal pistol with these little orange accents. Looks great with gold. So I'm actually not sure why I don't have gold on right now, but I'll have to check that. I definitely have it for him. I have it for all the DPS at this point. I just think this one's awesome. It's got a ton of texture, ton of detail, ton of like extra little add-ons, and a whole model change. His face is pretty much the same as it was, but the costume alone fits him very well. And again, summer skins and Halloween skins are something that I always feel Overwatch knocks out of the park, and this is no exception to that rule. If you guys like this video, go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think are the best skins. Obviously, these are skin rankings, so these are super subjective on what you think is the best one. And guys, if you want to run wheat, and that's my last one, don't feel bad. Like, I'm not saying there's something wrong with running the bad, or well, whoa. So I'm not saying there's something wrong with the skins that I say are bad. If you like them, you like them. This is just to maybe, if you're looking to buy a skin, show you what I think is the best, and maybe it'll highlight one that maybe you didn't, notice. So run what you want to run. Thank you for watching. And yeah, there'll be a new one coming out soon. I believe it's going to be Reinhardt next. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.